The Witcher 3 for the Nintendo Switch gets a huge update and it makes the game a whole hell of a lot better. Xbox Game Pass isn't playing around and they've announced some more games coming in the month of February with some absolute bangers on this list. A new free game has hit the Nintendo Switch and it's definitely a game you should be playing. And finally, while there is no Nintendo Direct, at least Nintendo has announced a new Nintendo Switch Lite. Yes, I'm serious. What's going on, guys? I'm RGT85. If this is your first time on the channel and you enjoy video game related content, be sure to hit that subscribe button. But without any further ado, let's jump into the world of video game news and talk about what's going on. So one of the biggest games to hit the Nintendo Switch in 2019 was of course the port of The Witcher 3. Now The Witcher 3 was thought to be a game that had no business being on the Nintendo Switch. There was no way, no how this game would actually fit on a cartridge, but it did. It fit all of the game on the cartridge, including all of the DLC. The game looked and ran pretty solid for what it was. Of course, there were some visual downgrades done within the game, but you still got the full Witcher experience. I went on record as saying it was one of the best, if not the best, handheld experiences on the Nintendo Switch just because of how it looked better in handheld mode than it did in dock mode. It looked a little bit blurry, and that was definitely the point of area that people were focusing on. The graphics were clearly downgraded to be on the Nintendo Switch. Well, a couple weeks ago on the channel, we talked about the fact that the Witcher 3 developer Saber Interactive, who handled the Nintendo Switch port of the game, was teasing some sort of big update for the game, and not many people knew what this would be involving. Now, of course, some people who actually have hacked Nintendo Switches were able to find additional graphical settings within The Witcher 3 for the Nintendo Switch that for some reason were not able to be activated in the retail copy of the game. So people thought, myself included, that that could be one of the focal points of this patch. Well, the patch has just recently released a couple hours ago. I went ahead and downloaded it, and there are definitely some major improvements happening within this game. Now, one of the cool things that they've added in this update for The Witcher 3 for the Nintendo Switch is the ability to import your save file from GOG or Steam. So if you've been playing this game on Steam or GOG, you can actually import your save file into the Nintendo Switch version of the game. So that's something that we're seeing more and more developers use, and I think it's a really cool tool because it allows you to play your game on your PC, and then if you're leaving the house, you can play your Nintendo Switch version of the game and still have your save file intact and pick up right where you left off. But obviously they've done some additional things as well, such as fixed a few bugs, but one of the main focuses was on the graphics. They have added in a whole slew of new graphical options, including a sharpening filter. Now I want to show you guys some footage that I captured in docked mode for the sharpening filter on this. You can clearly see that with the sharpening filter off, it looks a bit blurrier than it does with the sharpening filter on. I think the sharpening filter looks a hell of a lot better. You can also do things like adjust foliage in the background so that the game runs a little bit smoother and there's a little bit less pop-up. But I think the game looks absolutely fantastic now in handheld mode because when you update that sharpness, that also translates into the handheld mode version of the game. I just wanted to show you guys some basic footage of how the sharpness filter works and all the additional filters that they've added in there to sort of customize your gameplay experience, but it's absolutely great to see. I think the game looks so much better with these additional graphical options. I love how you could sort of tweak the game to your preferred settings when you're playing The Witcher 3 on the Nintendo Switch, and this just goes to show you that this game must have sold pretty well for them to be putting all of this time and effort into the Nintendo Switch version of the game. We've obviously seen additional developers do things like this. We saw it with Doom and Wolfenstein from Panic Button, adding in additional graphics options, but this is absolutely great to see. I definitely recommend you download this free patch and check out these additional graphics options because they really make the game just pop a whole hell of a lot more. Next up, one of the coolest things about the Xbox One to me personally is of course Xbox Game Pass. I think it's a phenomenal service. You can pick it up for dirt cheap. They're always running sales on it, and it gives you a plethora of games at your fingertips. Maybe games that you wouldn't have checked out previously are now available to you on your Xbox One for essentially free, just the price of Game Pass per every month. Well, Xbox this morning announced that a bunch of new games are actually coming to Xbox Game Pass in the month of February, and there's some absolute bangers on this list. So on February 20th, Ninja Gaiden 2, which is the original Xbox game, will be coming to Game Pass. Of course, this game is enhanced for the Xbox One and the Xbox One X, so if you have one of those systems, you'll be able to get better graphical fidelity. On February 25th, there's a whole bunch of games coming out. Kingdom Hearts 3 is coming out for Xbox Game Pass. You have 2 Point Hospital coming out for Xbox Game Pass, which isn't even out yet. Wasteland Remastered, and then on February 26th, you have Yakuza 0, which of course, the Yakuza series was only seen on PlayStation consoles in North America until very recently, so Yakuza 0 will be available to download on February 26th, and on February 27th, you get Jackbox Party Pack 3. I don't know, maybe some people will care about that, but you're obviously getting a lot of great games here, like Kingdom Hearts 3 and Yakuza 0. Those are huge games. 2 Point Hospital is a game that, like I said, it hasn't even released yet. I probably will pick up the Nintendo Switch version of that game just because I enjoy the portability aspect, but now I can check it out on my Xbox One as well. It's very clear to see that Xbox is putting a lot of time, effort, and resources into Xbox Game Pass, and I definitely think it's their strongest feature when it comes to their home consoles. One thing I'm really interested in, though, is how Xbox is going to work with Xbox Game Pass and the Xbox Series X, because I think this could be potentially a big selling point for the Xbox Series X. If the PlayStation 5 and the Xbox Series X end up being around the same price point this holiday season, people are going to be looking for a reason to buy one console over another. And if the Xbox Series X can come with like 3 months of free Game Pass or something like that, so that way you don't even have to buy any additional games for the system, you simply have access to a large library of games available on day one with your Xbox Series X, I think that could potentially persuade some people to pick up an Xbox Series X over a PlayStation 5. All I know is the Xbox Game Pass is the best value in gaming right now. I wish Nintendo would adopt something like this instead of that awesome NES and SNES online service that we have, but obviously Xbox Game Pass is getting stronger and stronger each month, and this might be one of the strongest months we've ever seen from the service. Next up, I want to give you guys a quick PSA about a game that just released on the Nintendo Switch, and it's free. It is absolutely free. I went ahead and got the game from the Australian eShop last night because I wanted to play this game before it released in North America. So I put about 6 or so hours into it last night, played it for about 3 hours today. I will have a full video up on this game tomorrow, but it is a game called Warface. It is a military first-person shooter that plays a lot like Call of Duty, and really, it's a free first-person shooter, and it's pretty damn well done. Now, there are some things that I don't like about the game. You constantly have to be online, but the amount of content you get in here is absolutely fantastic. There's, of course, standard stuff like team deathmatch and free-for-all, and of course, there's also stuff like PvE missions where you and some other people team up and basically have to accomplish different missions within this game. It runs really well on the Nintendo Switch as well. Like I said, there are some caveats to the game. We'll have a full video up on the game tomorrow on the channel, but the game is called Warface. I want you guys to download it and check it out because it's an absolutely fantastic game and it's free. It's free! And finally, Nintendo has been a very strange company in 2020. I don't care what anyone says. Obviously, some people disagreed with my video that I did about a week or so ago, talking about how Nintendo just seemed a bit lackadaisical in 2020. We are now beyond halfway through the month of February, and we still only know about 3 games coming out for the Switch from Nintendo, one being Animal Crossing, one being Pokemon Mystery Dungeon, and one being Xenoblade Chronicles Remastered. Of course, Animal Crossing has a million different questions on it that could simply be answered in an Animal Crossing Direct, but Nintendo doesn't seem to be rushing to this, even though the game is roughly 1 month away from being released. So Nintendo has just been a strange company, and a lot of people were hoping that there could potentially be some sort of Nintendo Direct this week. Obviously, they could do an Animal Crossing Direct or a full-on proper Nintendo Direct to talk about what games are coming out, but no, it doesn't look like we're going to be getting one, at least not at the start of the week, because Nintendo made an announcement today that I think would have been perfect for a Nintendo Direct. They're doing another Nintendo Switch Lite. Yeah, another color of the Nintendo Switch Lite, a coral Nintendo Switch Lite system that basically a sort of bright red, and this system will be releasing on April 3rd. Now, what's interesting about this is you've heard a lot of different things going around with the situation in China with the coronavirus, and there could be some manufacturing issues coming up on the horizon for all major console manufacturers, because obviously a lot of these parts are developed in China because it's cheap to develop parts in China, so a lot of these companies outsource their systems, but it looks like this system is on track to be hitting on April 3rd. I think it's a fine looking system, you know, if you like that bright red color. I would have appreciated a more purple color. Obviously, we like a lot of purple here on RGT85, but once again, it's just sort of a weird sort of thing to talk about. Like, you're giving us a new Nintendo Switch Lite console, but what games am I going to be playing on this system that are coming out in 2020? I'm not quite sure why Nintendo seems to be so steadfast on dragging their feet, talking about 2020 stuff, and I'm I'm sure once they finally do talk about it, it's definitely going to be worth it. But if you can announce a system in a simple tweet or a press release, why can't you announce a game or two in a simple press release or a tweet or something like that? Upload a video onto your YouTube channel. It's not very hard to do. But as people wait for this Nintendo Direct to come, at least you know there is a new Nintendo Switch Lite coming out, and it's kind of a pretty color. Alright, so that is going to do it for today's video. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Let me know in the comments section down below what you think of everything. Are you a fan of Xbox Game Pass like I am? Because, well, you should be. Have you decided to download Warface yet? Yes, it has a weird name, but trust me, it is a solid first-person shooter, and we will have a full video up on Warface tomorrow on the channel. What do you think about The Witcher 3's update? I definitely recommend you guys download it and check it out because they really improved the graphics of the game. And finally, are you picking up this new Nintendo Switch Lite model, or are you still waiting for Nintendo to, I don't know, talk about a Direct or talk about some games or something like that? Be sure to let me know in the comments section down below. And as always, guys, thank you for checking out this video. If this is your first time on the channel, like I said, be sure to subscribe and turn on notifications. Check out other videos on the channel. And as always, I'll catch you guys on the next video. Later.